Hello my fellow pod pilots of New Eden, my name is EddieRio and this is PvP RoamAntics episode 11. So here I am in the Celestis yet again. I am a man of habit and I brought quite a few of these Celestises and they are great ships, and this one here I've shield tanked, and so I've got a large ancillary shield booster and an extra large ancillary shield booster, which just gives you insane reps. I've also got a blue pill in my cargo, which I take a little bit later on in this fight, and I've also got a low grade crystal set which just really improves your shield tanking skills. I'd say it makes it so much more viable, especially solo PvP, than without those things. So if you're PvPing in low sec or high sec, I definitely recommend using a crystal clone set for shields. Low grade is just as good if you can't afford high grade. I think high grade is just crazy expensive. I think the low grade Omega isn't too bad, but the high grade Omega is really expensive. So even if you get the high grade crystals, maybe just get the low grade Omega, which adds that boost on, and then it will sort of negate the cost a little bit. And of course, unless you're completely flush with ISK and you just don't care, I'd never take a clone with really expensive implants into nullsec, as you have to deal with bubbles and all sorts of things that can point you a lot quicker, and you'll probably end up losing your pod at the end of a fight, rather where in low sec and high sec you can always warp out when you need to, unless they've got some kind of crazy insta-locking thrasher or smart bombs that you're not paying attention to. If you're a relatively new pilot and you're not sure about implants as well, go check them out on the market, because there's lots of very cheap ones that you can get which can increase your power grid or CPU by 1%. And often when I'm fitting ships in Python or EFT, I allow for that 1 or 2% either way, because I know that I can always fit a 1% implant into my head and take my power grid up that little bit, so it kind of gives you a little bit of leeway on your fitting, which is always useful. So back to the fight in hand that's taking place up against this Vexor, both kind of active tanked, both really going for it. He's not attacking my drones in any way, so I'm kind of slowly attacking his drones with my little autocannon, but I know he's got lots in reserve as well, so I probably do best just to keep aggressing him. But I'm about to get one of his ogres there, which is going to be quite a good little bit of DPS off of me. I'm struggling with my tank as well. As you can see, I overloaded my invulnerability field almost to burning it out, and that really helps to sort of negate incoming DPS. Another thing that I start to struggle with now is my capacitor, which makes me want to change the fitting that I have here slightly for the small autocannons for some energy vampire modules, so that I can draw a bit of capacitor from my enemy, because I don't have my own capacitor booster, because these shield modules take their own charges. As you can see, I'm kind of keep struggling to regain point and keep, you know, even my damage control activated, which is a large part of keeping my tank alive. But at this point it's kind of gone a bit topsy-turvy, and if you've noticed, another Vexor has just come in. I thought I was close to getting him, but I think he was kind of bait tanking me a little bit there and let his reps go all the way down. And with the other DPS from that other Vexor, there's not much I can really do at this point, and I'm kind of a little bit disappointed that the other Vexor showed up. I think he actually told his mate not to, but he did in the end. But that's the way things go, and I ended up losing the ship. But really great fight, and a good one to test my tank up against the Vexor to see how it does. I think if it had carried on, it had maybe have been a very close fight to who won the capacitor war there at the end. So I go pick up another one of my Celestis, and then I get back out again, and I spot this Thorax just not doing anything at this point here, and I don't know if this is a trap or bait or anything, but I think it's probably worth GCCing on and giving it a go. My ship's only cheap, and you've got to throw yourself into the battle sometimes and see what comes up. So he hasn't even locked me back yet. I don't know what's going on, or even if perhaps he's AFK. He's only launched like one drone as well, and he's only just locked me up. His tank is melting really fast, and I think by this point it's just going to be an easy kill. So I kind of tell myself, let's see if I can do this without even activating my rep at this point. So he starts to hit me a little bit, and does a little bit of damage, but by that time it's far too late, and it just kind of shows the DPS that these drones can do. Okay, the Thorax was poorly fit, but it took it down really quickly. Also just shows sometimes when you think things could be traps and you just think, just go for it, you end up getting an easy kill, which is always pretty good. Although I don't like an easy kill, I'd rather, you know, push my tank to the limit and then finally kill the guy at the end. You feel much more satisfaction from that than an easy gank. It's kind of why I've never liked sort of gate camping with large groups of people and, you know, getting those easy kills just to sort of, I don't know, pad my kill board, I guess. I'm more sort of, I want the fight and the action and almost to lose my ship and then to regain control again. That's the kind of enjoyment I get from PvP anyway. So here I am up against another Vexor, and after that last time I'm just hoping that nothing else is going to warp in, and I think, right, let's go for this. I can take down this Vexor. I know that my tank is enough to be able to deal with this, and I've just got to try and keep playing it, keep an eye on my drones, try and take out his drones as much as possible, or at least put his drones under pressure so that he's going to have to recall them and pop them back out and think more about that than maybe his tank. But yeah, this Vexor pilot was in a complex in faction warfare space that he was trying to do, and I find quite a lot of my fights at these kind of places, and sometimes I wonder what kind of piracy is and what people call piracy in this game, whether it's aggressing another person who isn't, you know, below -5, and I find it quite weird. I kind of like a similar situation to that Thorax that I ganked before. I got mails from the guy afterwards saying, oh, you know, why did you do that? And he ended up putting a bounty on my head and then mailing me a few times, sort of having a go at me for being a pirate. And I thought, well, you're in low sec and it's kind of everyone's kind of looking for a fight. This is a PvP oriented game. Even if you're care bearing, you're making the minerals so that people can fight in the big wars and stuff. So I don't know, put in the comments on what you think the definition of a pirate is. And one thing that I'd love to do is you know, ask people for a bounty, and if I've got someone, open them up for a chat if I'm going to win the game, and then say, you know, oh, give me 30-40 mil and I'll let you go, kind of thing. I think maybe that is a bit more on the piracy side, trying to make a living off of doing it rather than sort of having alts or other ways of making ISK. But I don't feel like a pirate as I'm going out and looking for my fights. I'm just looking for a good engagement and something that I can, you know, feel good about afterwards, that we both had a good fight. But yeah, definitely an interesting topic. So yeah, after that fight I jump cloned into an empty clone with no implants in, and I fitted myself out a little slicer and decided to go and have some fun in 0-0. Caught a few guys on a gate camp here. I think I've got absolutely no chance of killing these guys at the moment, but this is the great thing with Frigate PVP. Your ship is really cheap and you can just give it a go anyway and try and have a bit of a laugh and see what happens. As you know, my usual plan is at least try and kill something before I end up dying. So I could have quite easily run away from these guys if I wanted to, but I thought I'll have a little play with them and see what I can do. So usual thing that I do is I kind of cross jump a few times, draw a bit of aggro, see what ships are going to come out in the area, and then decide to burn off and see what follows me. This claw seems like the fastest thing, and he's catching up with me really fast. It's quite worrying. As soon as he gets on me now, I'm pretty sure he should activate a scram and I should be dead by now, but for some reason he kind of backs right up, and wanting the kill, I turn around and go straight for him. Probably the worst decision I could have made because all his mates have caught up by this time, but I don't care. I just want to try and kill this guy and then see if I can get out. I'm surprised that their DPS isn't hitting me very much. I've got no tank on this ship at all. They haven't even activated any sort of scram on me at the moment, so my micro warp drive's still working fine, so that's probably why they're having trouble hitting me. And I've almost got this claw down, but as you can see, the Dramiel's caught up with me there, and the other stuff is also catching up. I take that claw out. I'm happy with that, and I think, well, I swapped to multi-frequency, which is sort of closer range ammo, and I'll try and put some DPS on this Dramiel, but I pretty much know that it's all over. But great fun there, and Frigate PVP is great. After that, I didn't feel like, oh, I've got to go and reset and buy another ship. It was like, oh, it's only, you know, 20 mil, warp off, go fit another one and go and have some more fun. So yeah, that's it for this episode. In case you missed it, I did a kind of little roundup video of the first 1 to 10 episodes of RoamAntics, which just took some of the best fights, put them with a bit of music and stuff. And if you want to watch that, you can click on the screen now, and don't forget to sort of subscribe and give me a thumbs up and all that. And till next time, fly safe.